that we announced that Lena will not be participating in Creator Clash either.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, and everything else in between, we are back with a brand new iDubbbz video because his Creator Clash 3 event is falling apart. And yes, this is the second video on this channel today, and no, it's not about how lucky you are, it's about the fact that I've got things to pay for. Unless you've been living under a giant rock, you would know very, very well that Creator Clash 2 failed to make any money for charity.
You know, despite it being a fun event, and despite good fights and a lot of creators sacrificing a lot of time, money, and energy, we lost $250,000 on the event.
So when it was announced that iDubbbz and Inisa would be bringing back Creator Clash for a third event, and, you know, incredible fighters and entertainers like, you know, Tubbo would be fighting on the card, a lot of people were genuinely worried that not only would it not make any money for charity, but it would also be a huge failure. And this worry only increased when iDubbbz dropped his content cop on H3.
You know, I also see the dynamic of Ethan and Neela. I'm like, fuck, like, it's really hard to be, a couple online and see people attacking your partner, and it's like, okay, like, if you come to their defense, if that doesn't always help them, right? Sometimes that makes it worse for them.
And people were not only worried that the controversy and drama from around this would make fighters pull out, feel uncomfortable fighting. A lot of people maybe wouldn't agree with the stance that iDubbbz was taking, but one of the fighters, Lena, who was going to be fighting on Creator Clash 3, was also employed under H3. And all those fears over the past week and a bit have kind of been realised. Creator Clash 3 as an event is falling to pieces. The first sign of this was when photos of the seating for the arena were being posted online, how many tickets had been sold, how many people were going to actually be turning up to this event, and basically not many tickets had been sold whatsoever. People didn't want to go or turn up to this event. And because of how bad the ticket sales were and the current seat availability, this caused Creator Clash to kind of do a reshuffle, which got a lot of backlash online because, you know, this is a pathetic showing. And I've genuinely got to ask iDubbbz, what do you think was going to happen when he dropped the H3 content cop before Creator Clash 3? Creator Clash 3 already had the failure of Creator Clash 2 riding on it, and the fact it made no money for charity. What did he think was going to happen when he dropped a content cop on his former friend right before the event, when the event had somebody who was employed by H3 fighting on it? To all the outsiders, it genuinely looks like iDubbbz and Inisa have tried their hardest to make this event a failure. Because fighters as well, who were meant to be fighting on Creator Clash 3, who have fought on other Creator Clashes, like Dad for example, have come out to speak about the H3 content cop. Hey guys, I've heard about the stuff going down. I feel for you. Really hope everything goes as good as they can. Hope everyone makes it out sane. Good luck, Lena. This whole thing is a bummer for all. It's weird that he put that out. I feel confused too. This is genuinely the last thing that you want to do before your next big YouTube boxing event that's meant to be for charity. When your second one was a critical failure, everyone's panned it, it didn't make any money for charity, and you had to try and make charity money back doing live streams. Why would you risk this? This is the genuinely worst outcome that you could possibly have. And as well, Harley, who was meant to be headlining Creator Clash 3 and who's been fighting on the previous Creator Clashes, actually recently called into Nicholas Diorio to speak about the mess of Creator Clash 2.
Of Creator Clash, or very soon after the first one, we found out, and I looked it up, we got $27,000.
27,000, just to be clear, because you broke up a little bit.
Like,
oh, 1 second, Harley. You're breaking up a little bit. So everyone got
20,
the 20
is my thing
flat.
breaking up here?
Yeah. But just to be clear, so you got the 20K down initially, and then there was a $27,000 bonus on the night of the fight, but not a bonus for the fight of the night.
Yeah, exactly.
So by the time Creator Clash 2 rolled around, a lot of people thought that they would be receiving a bonus of some type.
Like, okay, because when Creator Clash 2 happened, now people were like, what about the bonus thing? Because there was a bonus that, like, what's going to happen with that? What's the logic of that? How's that going to play out?
Wait, so was this after they found out or before they found out that no money was going to charity?
Oh, no. Once everyone found out no money was going to charity, not a single person was like, where's my money?
It's just one of the things that shows how poor the communication on Creator Clash 2 was. How bad the event truly actually was. I think a lot of people actually underplay how bad it was. I think we should start really overplaying how bad it was, because genuinely this event sounds like it was an absolute nightmare.
It was like, oh, I really needed that. Oh, shit. And it ended up being zero, when people were kind of doing like the mental gymnastics of like, oh wow, that amount, that could be if this sells like Creator Clash 1, that could be $50,000 or something like that, whatnot, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Which is why, and listen, I genuinely was not dependent on that money, and I do love bringing it up, even though people don't believe me. I turned down 150K from Keemstar to box, so the money's not important. And but when the fight was done the next day, so now the fight is over, and we all slept in the hotel, us and everyone on Twitch that got brought down. We all slept there, and the next day was this party. And I remember going to the party and seeing like professional photographer. I remember seeing some girl singing on stage.
I think Nicholas Diorio's interview with Harley really kind of adds to how bad Creator Clash 2 actually was, how badly it was run, how their priorities weren't really focused on charity, how it was much more focused on trying to give creators the best experience they could possibly have with all these musicians, all this good food, as Harley goes on to say.
And a guy telling jokes after. And in my head, I was like, someone flew that girl down. I don't know who she is, but she got hotel room. She may have also gotten paid to be here. I'm looking at the food on the table. I'm not really hungry. I'm like, all this food. I'm like, I was with my partner at the time. I was like, I don't know if everyone here is analyzing it the way I am, but we paid for this party. I thought money was going to charity still. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, money's going to charity, but like this party is paid for by us.
And when you've got an event like Creator Clash 3, with the failure of Creator Clash 2 riding on you, with the content cop on H3 also being a looming factor, this is not the press from one of your headline fighters that you really, really want. And I think if anyone is familiar with this situation, or Harley, and how he's been talking about Creator Clash and dealing with it just in general, I think it's very clear that Harley very much does care about charity, the event at hand, and wants to raise money for charity. It seems like he's one of the only individuals, as Nicholas Diorio puts it, that actually gives a fuck. This is where I've been living for the past few months, getting ready for my boxing match. It's tough to get out of bed to do road work at 5 AM when you've been sleeping in silk pajamas. This would have been an excellent time to mention Creator Clash 3 is coming up. The event really could have used that. Sometimes I wonder if it would have proved more beneficial for Creator Clash to have chosen H3 instead of Hassan in the divorce, or not made any choice at all, lol. Creator Clash 1, I did a doc with Sam Hyde training me to box. The original plan was to have Hassan also train me to box in the doc. It would have been cute and good content. Sam was down with the concept, Hassan, understandably so, didn't want to be involved. I felt like sharing that with you all. Creator Clash 2, I mentioned to Hassan that I think it would be better if he responded to the constant fight demands. I said if he puts me on the spot, I would box Sam for him. Hassan asked if he thinks I could beat him, and I was like, yeah, I don't know about all that though. Then I got knocked out. Those are just a few of Harley's recent tweets to do with Creator Clash, but one of the major ones and the most important ones is the one where he announced that he wouldn't be boxing in Creator Clash. Now, originally when he tweeted this out, a lot of people had no idea if Anissa, iDubbbz, and Creator Clash had removed him from the event, or if he had stepped back. Now, due to a Nicholas Diorio stream and a message that Harley sent to him, we now know that he decided to take a step back.
Okay, I did just get clarification from Harley Moremstein. I appreciate it. I'll have to move this up in the segment, but he just wanted to clarify that he dropped. Ian and Anissa didn't drop him. He left on his own accord.
Thank you for the $5, my man.
So that is something that he wanted you guys to know.
Hayes saw this late, was tying up loose ends, still doing that. I did leave on my own accord in the end. You can mention that if you're still lying. I'm glad this was cleared up because it changes the dynamic of all of this significantly, but the result at the end of the day is still the same. They've just lost the fighter that probably cared about Creator Clash the most and wanted to see it succeed the most. This puts them in a genuinely awful position, and if you thought it couldn't get any worse, you know, it's about to get 10 times worse. No, I'm not going to show a picture of Frogan or Anissa. Basically, Lena, who works for H3 and who was going to be fighting on this event, ended up not doing so. You know, she's not fighting anymore.
Any of us took lightly, least of all, AB and Lena specifically. It is with great regret that we announced that Lena will not be participating in Creator Clash either.
I mean, Lena was put in a genuinely awful position here. I don't blame her. I'm surprised she didn't pull out of this event sooner. And at the time of recording, iDubbbz and Nisa Creator Clash, whatever you want to say, hasn't officially responded to any of this, but apparently a response is coming soon.
Yes. First off, I apologize to any of the fans who were going to see Lena. It's been a lot, and Lena's just sort of been thrown in the middle. She was kind of put in a really shitty situation.
And I think that's what makes the peculiar timing of the H3 content cop even more bizarre, because you've released it before Creator Clash 3. Surely he must have known or weighed up the option that this could possibly disrupt this charity event, that this could have major repercussions for it, or did iDubbbz not think about that whatsoever?
And boxing is a very serious thing, and you need your full concentration. And it was getting to a point that she was just caught in the middle of stuff, and I was afraid, and she was distracted at practice, and there's a lot to it. And yeah, she wasn't dropped. It was sort of it wasn't fair to her opponent, Froggy, as well, because if Lena was to post and promote, she would get shit. I'm
genuinely curious how iDubbbz and Creator Clash respond to this as a whole, how they respond to several fighters pulling out, all the backlash that the event is receiving, and you know, how it seems like it's pretty doomed. I'd be interested to see if they decide to cancel the event or not. I mean, at this point, I think they should.
And if she didn't post, she's still getting shit, and it's not fair to Froggy and her experience. So yeah, after talking out with everyone, we figured it was best if she drops.
Creator Clash. 2 highly anticipated fighters drop out. Ticket sales are non-existent. Jake Paul sets to fight on the same day. No promotion of the event. No public statement. Meanwhile, the owners... And yeah, that's another huge thing, is the Jake Paul boxing fight is on the exact same day. Which one do you think might take more precedent with a lot of people? And at this point, a lot of people want refunds for this, because this event is in a state of limbo. People have paid for tickets for fights that now aren't even happening. You know, people are genuinely wondering, people are genuinely curious, and people are concerned about this fight and event. And not to be 100% shocked if Creator Clash and iDubbbz manage to put out a good response. Just going off their track record in the past, I heavily doubt that they're going to be able to deal with this sufficiently and effectively. A clip that also blew up recently to do with Creator Clash was this one from Ice Poseidon.
I got invited to box iDubbbz in his event, his boxing event for Creator Clash, but I had to decline that because if I were to lose the iDubbbz, I would be extremely embarrassed.
You know what, I think that's pretty understandable, and if this does have any merit to it, it kind of just shows that iDubbbz was really scraping the bottom of the barrel to try and piece together Creator Clash. You'd think after one failed charity event being Creator Clash 2, not making any money for charity, which is the whole goal, that they wouldn't do another one. They wouldn't do Creator Clash 3 out of fear of messing it up, because they clearly can't run an event like this effectively. And you know, we are weeks away from Creator Clash 3, and already the event has fallen to absolute pieces. What I find pretty funny as well is a few months ago iDubbbz was completely irrelevant, nobody was talking about Creator Clash, and now everybody's talking about Creator Clash for all the wrong reasons. The content cop might have actually pushed it to more relevancy because people know who iDubbbz is again, and here is Asmongold's take on Creator Clash 3.
I think that it was I think this actually had nothing to do with any drama with the content cop or anything like that. I don't think it had anything to do with it. I think it's just simply that the event wasn't really that interesting. It's basically compounding off of the lack of interest from the previous event, a reduction in people that are willing to be title card fighters. And I think all of these things happening came together and it damaged the event.
I mean, the huge factor of Creator Clash 2 alone meant that Creator Clash 3 was almost definitely going to be a failure. When this was announced, everybody said that this would be a failure. I think the content cop only heightened this significantly. And it's very clear that the content cop had ramifications on Creator Clash, and if you can't see that, then I think that might be your issue. I do want to end the video on more of a positive note. So here is the clip of H3 saying he's going to be reimbursing Lena for all of her, you know, boxing training and all the time that took.
Harley was smart. Apparently he got paid up front.
What?
Interesting.
That's fucking insane.
It is insane. That's part of what pissed Harley off, is that he told them from the beginning that he would only do it if everyone was getting paid the same amount. He also, interestingly, maybe I shouldn't say this because I'll leave it to him, but I think he said this publicly already about the payment. He did. He said everyone needs to get paid the same amount, and they agreed. And then he was talking to his opponent, LA Beast, and he was like, oh no, I'm getting paid this much, which is like significantly more than you.
Again, Creator Clash isn't being run effectively in the event. It shouldn't have been taking place in the first place. I feel sorry genuinely for all the fighters, maybe bar from Turbo, because I don't really like the guy. But yeah, I feel bad for all the people that said they were going to be fighting on this card, and now, you know, it's all up in limbo.
How much did you guys spend?
It's pretty much up there. I think we probably spent around 12,000.
So you guys spent $12,000.
Oh!
And like, why should you guys be expected to front the cost for that, for their fucking event? It doesn't make any sense to me. But there it is. I didn't expect them to totally screw you guys in this way. So I will be reimbursing you guys, so don't worry about the money.
Appreciate
Hassan
that.
would never.
Can I just tell you thank you?
And I'm incredibly glad that H3 has done this, and it's a great way to end the video on this incredibly positive note. But it's also, you know, just shows and reflects on iDubbbz's character that H3 had to step out of his way to reimburse them. Like, instead of the time of recording, we're still waiting for Creator Clash 3's official response and what iDubbbz has to say, and I'm genuinely curious, and we'll probably make a follow-up video when that releases, depending on how detailed it is, and, you know, if I can milk it to at least 8 minutes, right? You know, I've got to put some ads on there. But everybody watching, what was your thoughts on this whole situation? Creator Clash 3. Please feel free to comment down below. And once you're done there, you might as well subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss a future upload. But I've been your host Samuel, and I'll catch you in the next YouTube video.